Full Metal Cowboy straight shooting a television review of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Seasons 1 and 2, therefore, the original series. I am no stranger when it comes to Scooby-Doo, more specifically, its original series, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, which premiered on September 13th, 1969. Therefore, it has recently celebrated its 50th anniversary. It's been out that long, and it has been a long-running franchise ever since its original series ended its run. And I'm sure that's quite the achievement for Scooby-Doo's two creators, Joe Ruby and Ken Spears, which at the time of recording this review, both of them are still alive. And that is quite something for Scooby-Doo's creators to be still around to see Scooby-Doo turn 50 and still be enjoyed by audiences for generations. Now, even though Joe Ruby and Ken Spears created Scooby-Doo together, they did not direct the series. But don't worry, because the two directors were none other than the legendary duo William Hanna and Joseph Barbera. This is the first time I'm talking about Hanna and Barbera in this channel, and that's because I really didn't talk about any shows that they were involved in, but I'm finally reviewing Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, and those two actually were involved in the making of that series. So here's the brief introduction to William Hanna and Joseph Barbera. They are very well known when it comes to cartoons and animated shows. They were the creators of Tom and Jerry, and they were also responsible for shows like The Flintstones, The Jetsons, and so on. Even though both of them have passed on, the fact that some of their franchises like Tom and Jerry and Scooby-Doo continue to go on goes to show you that they left a legacy that will continue on for generations to come. Now, I've had quite the history in experiencing Hanna-Barbera works. I've seen plenty of Tom and Jerry. I've seen the Flintstones and the Jetsons from time to time. But Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Was one of those shows that I remember fondly as a kid. Now, as I grew up, I actually considered Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? To be a fine kid show, but I probably wouldn't love it the same way I did when I was a kid. And then I realized that Scooby-Doo had quite the impact on audiences from years since. The impact of Scooby-Doo in terms of its popularity goes far out into even a few television shows, such as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, with Buffy and her group of friends being nicknamed the Scooby Gang, and there's even an episode of Supernatural called Scooby Natural, which is a Supernatural and Scooby-Doo crossover. I have not seen that episode, and I can't say I like the idea of the two shows crossing over, but whatever. There is no escaping Scooby-Doo. Now, while I'm not seeing a lot of merchandising around where I'm at, it definitely has its fans that have been around for generations. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, daddies and mummies, today is Halloween. Let's start things off with Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? First things first, the opening theme song. This is easily one of the most catchiest animated opening songs I have heard in a television show. Can't help it. First things first, the opening theme, which is also the closing theme of the series because they decided to reuse the opening as the closing theme, but whatever. After you hear it the first time, good luck trying to get this song out of your head because I find it to be impossible. Ever since I first watched Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? As a kid, this song has stuck in my mind ever since. At least when it comes to reflecting on television openings that I remember. And I'm sure that any true diehard Scooby-Doo fan would sing along to that opening theme. Other than the opening theme song, there is another thing about Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? That does stick out, and that is its formula. This show is very formulaic. After you watch episode 1, every episode of this show will repeat the exact same steps. Now, while that might sound like a huge criticism, I'm willing to forgive Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? For this, but only to a certain limit. I will admit my biggest criticism with the show is how very formulaic it is and how it doesn't really progress much throughout the whole entire run. But then again, this show had a very simplistic direction. It was aimed for kids, and the best praise I could give it is that the show remains entertaining despite this repetition. Just get used to this show setting up the game, stopping somewhere, investigating, solving clues, and unveiling the disguise of the monster every single episode. And now I would like to talk a little bit about the music, and I'm not just talking about the opening theme because I already talked about it. There is actually some background music that actually is quite memorable given that it's played a lot. And the soundtrack to the show is actually quite minimalistic. Get used to hearing a few songs within every single episode because you're going to hear it a lot. This show has the late Casey Kasem voicing Shaggy, who is an unforgettable voice in this entire franchise. But it also has Frank Welker in his debut voice performance as Fred. Frank Welker did reprise his role as Fred in other iterations of Scooby-Doo, but as time would tell, he would later voice characters such as Megatron in the Transformers, as well as Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget, as well as many other voice performances. We are talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of roles. He is that talented of a voice actor, and I am confident in calling him one of the greatest voice actors of all time. The rest of the main voice cast members are also great in their roles too. But what makes this show very entertaining and easily the biggest reason why this show remains very watchable even after 50 years are the characters. Sure, they may not be three-dimensional and they may be one-note for some viewers, but they're very likable, and I think that might be enough for this kind of show, especially in the time period it came out. And before I end this review, I want to briefly talk about Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Season 2. It's more of the same. However, Daphne's voice is changed for Season 2. Someone else is playing the role. And also, the opening theme has a different singer. And if I'm going to be honest with you, I actually prefer the Season 1 theme than Season 2. The vocals on the Season 2 theme kind of gets a little ear-grating to me, but I got a feeling some people like the Season 2 theme just as much as the Season 1 theme, so more power to you if you like the Season 2 theme. I just think it gets a little annoying after a while, but it's not that long of a song anyway, so I can tolerate it for as long as I can. At the end of the day, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Has left a cultural impact when it comes to animated television. It's no wonder why there are still fans of this franchise, and it has lived on for 50 years and will continue to do so as long as the fans keep it alive. I'm going to be shooting a 7.5 out of 10 for Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And both seasons have the same rating, so therefore the entire series rating is 7.5 out of 10. And that is my review of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? The entire original series. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to be moving on into another television show that is very well known since 1993, and I am referring to The X-Files. So, stay tuned for my review of Season 1 of The X-Files. I'll be reloading for my next review, so until then, I'll see you later. And the reason I'm being quiet is because I think there might be ghosts around the corner, so later.